Welcome to Build. Yes, woo, indeed. You are right to be excited as such, my friends. I'm your host, Matt Forte, and we are here live at the Build studio in New York City. Speaking of live, just a quick reminder to those tuning in, you can play along at home. Think of a question for our guest and send it this way. Just press the button on our site or hit us up on Twitter at BuildSeriesNYC. If you do a good job, it's a really good one, and we got the time, we just might ask it live. Now, our next guest has been acting since he was only 8 years old. Over the years, you've seen him pop up on shows like The Office and Criminal Minds, and he just did some voice work on Family Guy, but most recently, he's become best known for his portrayal of a young Bruce Wayne on the hit Fox series Gotham. Folks, Batman and trained David Mazouz is here. Make some noise for David. Come on. Come on. So exciting. So we're going to bring him out in a second. We're going to kick things off and do it upright. But before we go any further, I believe we've got some footage from this season of Gotham we're going to take a quick look at. So, Greg, man, let's go ahead and run that clip.
I told you, you are trapped in a prison. And I'm offering you the key.
Here's a look back on this season of Gotham and a sneak peek of what's coming when Gotham returns Thursday, March 1st.
I do the dirty work. No one else will. We're making the city safer.
I'm all for you protecting the innocent, but I won't have you risking your life over a thief.
We need an army to take on Penguin.
I am not giving the city over to Penguin. I don't care what the commissioner says.
Makes me miss Falcone.
We need an army. He's got one. You shouldn't have come back here.
I'm a Falcone. Want the city back from Penguin? I'll give that to you.
Yes, I killed him.
I am sorry. An opportunity awaits you.
Why do you want this so bad?
I'm sick of not being taken seriously. The three of us could give all those creeps a run for their money.
You were the one time I let love weaken me, and I want you around as a constant reminder to never make that mistake again.
No! Where are you?
You know Grundy?
We're the very best of friends. With your muscles, we can make money.
Will you fight now?
Yes!
I'm the one you seek. I am Ra's al Ghul.
I have to be ready for when Ra's al Ghul returns.
You can trust me.
We don't work for you, and we don't work with you.
Your captain says otherwise.
You better pray. I can clean up your mess on this one, Harvey.
What the hell was that?
You'll see. I will kill everyone you love.
Taking your life and lead you down a darker path than you could ever possibly imagine.
I'm not the hero Gotham needs.
She's been planning a war.
You wanted a war! You got one!
This is your turf now. You're new leader of the Narrows. You're in love with Lee Tompkins, you pathetic loser.
Shut up!
As of this moment, I'm assuming the captaincy of Gotham Central.
Nothing in Gotham is free.
This isn't about Gotham. This is revenge.
The GCPD will crumble, and you will lose Gotham forever.
You have to remember who you are.
Stop trying to be my father.
Master Bruce, I'm so sorry.
Alfred, you're fired.
And how can you help me?
I know that's gonna happen.
What do you say, pal? I'll be your best friend.
Now, a look at what's coming on Gotham.
I think I saw who I really am.
I've seen my own darkness. You have people around you who care for you. Don't fight this alone. Trust us.
Careful, Jim. Sometimes we go looking for things we don't want to find.
And if I go down, so will you.
You still think you know what I will and won't do.
I'll be coming for you, bitch!
I need help.
That's really why you came to me.
Sorry.
Sometimes that's enough.
You really are nuts. The best cure is the laughing cure. Make me laugh.
I will not!
I want an APB on Ivy Pepper.
Finding her is our top priority.
First, I was a seed. Then a sprout. Now I've bloomed.
That is so Gotham.
You have no idea what's really going on at your company, do you? Billionaire boy. Harvey. I'm going to make miracles happen.
Who's there? Show yourself!
I am the one you cannot escape. The one you cannot kill.
You. Let's make Gotham our bitch.
Now we're talking.
Gotham returns Thursday, March 1st on Fox.
Thank you for waiting.
I need to find the creme de la crazy, which is why I need you. Oh, we are gonna have so much fun together.
Oh, does it get any better than that? Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Bruce Wayne himself, David Mazouz. Yes. Oh, man. That's cool. Welcome. Welcome to the
Thank
show,
you.
man. Thank you, dude. Thank you for hanging out with us and being here. Congratulations on an incredible first half of season 4 and what looks like is going to be even more incredible second half. Super stoked to talk about it. And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into deep, ask you all the Batman questions. But before we get to any of that, how are you doing, man? How's David? How you holding up?
David is great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You having a good time?
Very, very happy to be here.
Yeah, man. We're happy to have you here, dude. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
You just had a big birthday recently.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I was, because 17 is one of those birthdays where it's like a buffer birthday.
Right.
It's like it doesn't mean much in itself. It just means you're one step closer to being 18. Yeah. You know.
It's kind of like in the middle. It's
It's
like
like
a no
it's
man's
sandwiched
land.
between two big birthdays. 16 and 18 are huge.
16's a huge deal. 18's a huge deal.
And
in
then
the middle,
17, you're like,
it's a
I'm
breather.
halfway there. Great.
Almost there.
Yeah.
I kind of made it. All right. So then, how does one celebrate a halfway there birthday? What'd you do?
I have a friend who's an ex-U.S. Marshal, and so him and two of his friends who are also ex-U.S. Marshals went to take me to a gun range, and I shot a gun for the first time, and I learned a lot about gun safety, and it was actually a great birthday. Yeah.
Is that the tweet I saw where you were learning? It said grappling hook. Is it or is it something about
It was a joke. He was yeah. Because Batman doesn't shoot real guns. He shoots
No. I thought
grappling
you were.
guns.
I thought you were getting grappling training.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, we're gonna see a grappling.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
All right, very, very cool. Well, again, man, happy birthday, and sincerely, it means a lot. I know you're a busy dude, carving out some time to come talk to us about Gotham. Let's get into it, because it's been a great year for you. It's been a rough year for Bruce. Been a
very rough year.
Very rough year, man. You know, the whole Ra's al Ghul thing, maybe he's dead, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if he's dead. I don't know. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to make you comment any further. He looks pretty dead, but it's weighing heavy on Bruce. He's growing distant with Alfred. There's a lot going on. What has it been like for you as an actor going down and leaning into this dark side and getting into Bruce's dark side like this?
It really is incredible, and I feel very, very, very blessed because, I mean, listen, when I first booked this role, I was super excited for the sole reason that it's Batman as a kid. It's Bruce Wayne. I mean, it's such an iconic role. There's so much to draw from. But what I didn't think about is how rich this character is as a character, and how many layers there is to discover there. He is a completely different person. I mean, he's not. There's so much to him. There's so many different people that he's capable of being, and those come out, and they have come out, and the writers have given me so much to play with, especially this year. And I'm doing scenes where I'm partying and I'm drinking and I'm totally wasting Bruce is totally wasting his life away for these couple episodes, and that's so completely drastically polarly oppositely different than what we've seen Bruce before, and so to be able to play both of those things and so many more, vigilante Bruce, evil Bruce, like so many other things in the same show, in the same body, is really an incredible thing to be. It's a goldmine as an actor.
Yeah, it looks like you're having a blast. You really do get to do so many different facets to this character and so many different versions of this character. And it's exciting because you did say, and I think you're right, that he is a completely different person. If I think of who I was when I was 16, and I'm no Batman, but I was definitely a different person, years ago. And you get to see all these things, and brick by brick, see him become Batman, which is really exciting and is kind of the allure and the fun part. And we'll get deeper into that. But we were talking kind of on the outskirts with Alfred last time we saw you. You guys are kind of button heads. And Sean has been here before. He's a great guy. He's a big teddy bear. But I imagine you guys had a fight scene. It's got to be pretty intimidating when you're looking down the other end of those fists. What was it like preparing for that and shooting a fight scene with him, man?
That was tough. I never actually had a proper choreographed fight scene with Sean before as Bruce. I did it as the clone like 514A. But I never had it as Bruce, and so doing that was it was weird because I didn't want to fight him, and I think there was a level of that in the fight, especially because that scene also was written. I mean, I was like amazed when I wrote it when I read it because most scenes are either like fight scenes, emotional scenes, but they don't really they're not both almost ever. And this scene was like a 4-page scene. The first 2 pages were like a really deep conversation between the two of them about what it means to live, really. And Alfred says, "You're miserable," and Bruce says, "No, I'm not. I'm having a great amount of time. I'm having so much fun. I'm partying all the time." And Alfred's saying, "Yeah, you're doing that because you're miserable. You're trying to distract yourself." And it was a really deep scene. And then it goes into a 2-page fight scene, and it was it was huge, and it was tough. It was a tough day on set because it was really hard to pull that off and to do both of those in the same scene.
I was going to say, when you've worked on this show for a couple of years, you got a couple of seasons under your belt, you're used to compartmentalizing those things. Okay, I'm a vigilante here, I'm jumping around, I'm wearing the outfit, and that's a physical scene. All right, this is different.
Yeah.
But here, was it extra exhausting by the end of it where you were like, I need some water, I need something. I've never done anything that taps into both sides of my brain like this before.
I think Sean and I were both really exhausted. Like, I remember during the turnaround, we went outside and we were just like, "Am I hitting you too hard?" And he's like, "I don't even feel anything anymore." And it's just like, it's numb.
That's pretty wild. Okay, so let's go the other way and let's talk about some of the fun stuff you do get to do this season. Like I said, we got to see the vigilante side a little bit season 3. This season, we're getting to see a lot more of that billionaire playboy seed be planted and sort of see that side of Bruce.
Which I love.
Yeah, well, that's just it. What was your reaction? You get the script, you find out, oh man, this is the year I get to be this version of Bruce Wayne. How did you feel?
The first time that really came out was the 3rd episode of this season, and I got that script, and I read that script. I mean, just including the billionaire stuff, the vigilante stuff, Bruce taking on the Penguin, because that's really what he was going for that episode. It really felt like a Batman story in that. I mean, and that's what I was talking to the executive producer, John Stevens, later, and he said, yeah, this episode felt like it was a Batman episode, and it was so cool to do. I mean, like, obviously, every kid wants to be Batman. But when they dangle it in front of me like this, it's like I really want to be Batman, and so like being able to do that was really, really cool. And that was the first time there was that auction scene where Bruce is going, Bruce is like laughing and being completely over the top obnoxious. It was so much fun to do. And just working with Robin and Sean and playing off of both of them was so cool. And Aaron, it was really fun to do.
You're getting to do a lot more of that, of playing off of Robin and playing off of those characters and being put in those scenarios. So I imagine it's getting.
I never got to work with Robin really before that.
Yeah, exactly. There's one thing I wanted to ask you about. I wrote down a direct quote that I think Gotham tweeted or retweeted, but it was from you, and it was shooting the club scene in episode 7 was the most fun I've ever had shooting any scene ever. Not just on Gotham, but ever. Like, strong declaration.
Yeah.
Can you detail a little bit, other than the obvious, because you get to act like you're having the world's greatest party, but what was it specifically that you had never gotten to experience before? What was unique about that day, about that shoot?
That was the first time that I drank alcohol on screen, like my character. This is the first time I've ever done a scene like that, which was a small part of it. Mainly, it was we had a great director, John Baring, who also did one of my favorite episodes of the show in the 2nd season, where Bruce finds the man who killed his parents, which obviously was the whole turning point of Batman, and he decides not to kill him, which I thought was like the first defining moment that the show had of Bruce Wayne, and he directed that, and so I really love this director, very close relationship with him. I think he knows his character really well, and he just said, because in the script there was like a montage, and there was a couple things lined out, and the director was like, all right, we're gonna do those, but we're gonna do more. And we're just gonna you just go crazy. And he just put me on top of the bar with like two bartenders handing me alcoholless champagne, like bottles after bottles, and I was just pouring. And everybody in the background had agreed to get wet. They were like the wet background, so I was allowed to pour like champagne all over them, and I was pouring it all over myself, and it was just so much fun. I came out of there smelling, I don't even know what. I was drenched in this stuff, and I was pouring, and everybody was so mad at me, and I was just going crazy, and it was just so much fun. Like, I've never been able to let loose like that on camera, and it worked. Like, that's exactly what it was, and I love the way they cut it. They you know, it started out like as a really fun thing, and then you saw me.
But then it lands.
Yeah, and it lands, and then you see this is really coming out of a place of excruciating pain, like the deepest pain there is.
For sure. Do you, as having just turned 17, do you find yourself maybe walking around and like you're outside a nightclub and you hear it now and you're like, I know what they're doing in there.
Yeah, I know.
Like
yeah.
It's not typically as crazy as that scene. I'll tell you that right now. But it gets close. It gets close. It looks like you're having a lot of fun there. And this season in particular, like I said, even in the dark moments, you can tell as an actor you're getting to do a lot of things that, you know, coming out of season 1 and 2 was kind of a slow burn for Bruce because you were like, all right, he's not going to be Batman by the end of this season. We know it's going to take some time. But I feel like once we hit season 3 and especially in season 4, that pace has almost been accelerated a little bit. Like we're hurtling towards Batman at this point. One, are you going there faster than you ever thought you would? And two, how do you feel about the acceleration of that pace?
I love it because I think it's natural. I think people at this age, at 16, 17, whether they're right or not, I know because I myself am that age. When you decide that your life is going to be about something, because that's really when you decide. I mean, it often doesn't stick, but that's when you think that you're going to decide what your life is going to be about. And when you decide something, you're like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna go for that full on. And that's exactly what Bruce is doing. He's saying at the beginning of the season, he said, that's my calling. I'm a vigilante. I'm gonna protect Gotham, and I'm gonna do it all the way. And so, of course, that evolution is gonna be exponential. And I think at the beginning of season 1, he was grieving, and he couldn't. It was more about accepting the loss of his parents and getting over that. That was the struggle of the season. Season 2, some villains started coming after him, and then season 3 is exactly that. He found his place. He had an identity crisis, and he said, "Okay, this is what I'm going to be," and we're going to have to see him find it again now. I mean, I feel like Bruce's evolution is a lot like a sine curve. I think a lot of the characters on the show are, but especially Bruce. Like he kind of He'll be on a path. I feel like at the beginning of the season, he's always on a path towards greatness, and then somewhere in the middle, he loses his way, and then towards the end, he'll have to find it again. And that's exactly the kind of the pattern that season 4 is taking. It's going to be a real struggle to regain Alfred's trust and to find his place again, to find his destiny.
Let me ask you this, and this might be a personal question, but with the accelerated pace, with things moving as quickly as they are, have you practiced your Batman voice?
For this?
Yeah. Oh, everybody quiet. I think we're going to get it. Here we go.
Sorry, I have to prepare.
No, please, take your time.
I have to hydrate my palate.
I am the night. I am Batman.
Round of applause, please, for the
not
Batman
good.
voice.
It's not good.
No.
I'm just messing with you guys. They'll have to give me that voice altering.
The modulation,
yeah.
alter it.
Yeah.
You know what though? One, kudos for you for showing a work in progress with us, for trying and working on it.
Just know that.
Yeah, no, you're not going to be Batman tomorrow. That's the whole point. This is where it starts. This is the seedling of the Batman voice.
There you go.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. You know, it's been much storied since the beginning of this show that, the last thing we're going to see, the last thing we're ever going to see is Batman. He's going to put the hat on, the cowl, I'm sorry, and that's going to be the final shot, it's the closing shot. And one, we talked about this in the back. I kind of feel for you because you're going to spend all this time building up to being Batman. They're finally going to give you the suit.
Years and years.
Years of effort.
Yeah.
You finally put the suit on, and then the last thing you hear is, all right, that's it. Let's go home.
Yeah,
we did it.
All right.
All right, guys.
We can make it home for dinner for quick.
Pack it up.
Let's get out of here.
So number one.
And then I'm left in the middle of the set on top of a building like, come on.
Can I get 5 minutes with the case?
Just one grappling hook.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
So I feel bad that that's what is supposedly in the future, but let me ask you this. Now that we're moving faster, do you think maybe, in your opinion, that's not necessarily the end? Maybe we'll get there before the end. And how do you feel about that? Is that exciting? Maybe.
I hope so.
You hope so, of course.
What do I think? It's a great question. I don't know what I think. I think that it's possible. I think that it depends on a lot of things, obviously. But I really do hope so.
Well, I was doing.
I don't know what else to say. Like now,
no,
I'm
it's
thinking.
Fine. That's perfect.
Yeah.
If you think about it, if you want, you can come back into it. There's no format here. We're just relaxed. But I was doing the math, okay?
Okay, please.
And so, assuming, because we don't know how old Bruce is, they never tell us definitively.
We'll find out later this season.
Get out. Well, then maybe I'm going to save all my math.
Bruce has somewhat of a birthday.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Because there was a whole
You're
article.
really close to mine.
So, okay, fair enough. Well, it makes sense.
You know why?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you guys know, but me and Bruce Wayne have the same birthday.
Same birthday.
And that was established in the comics before I was born. So I was born on Batman's birthday.
Yeah, you were born on Batman's birthday.
My mom did not plan it out.
I can't believe you didn't. I can't believe you didn't walk into the audition with that fact.
I didn't know that fact. I found out a year into the show. A fan tweeted at me and said, "Oh my God, it's your birthday today. Today's Batman's birthday." I was like, "No way!"
And you were like, "Yeah, no, I know. It's my birthday.
I'm Batman, and it's my birthday too."
That's your Batman voice, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm Batman. It's me, guys.
Come on, Joker. I'm Batman. Put down the gun.
Perfect. That's it. We've got it. We've nailed it. Okay, forget the train of thought here. Oh, I've done the math.
Okay,
Great.
math, right.
Okay, so assuming Batman, according to Wikipedia and extensive research, that one site, it said Batman typically starts being Batman early 20s, around 25 years old. Now, if we were to go 1 year at a time, I think Gotham could do it. But they seem to be advancing a couple of years at a time.
Yeah.
So I figure 3 or 4 seasons, that's not a lofty goal. I think we can make it.
And it was funny because when I first got the show, I was 12. And everyone was saying, "Oh yeah, like in 20 years, be Batman." And I was like, "You guys don't know how to do math. I'm be 20 in like 5 years, or be 18 in 5 years." And the thing is, like the great thing about the Batman canon and really any comic book canon is that there isn't a set time or a set place for anything really. It all kind of fluctuates. I know we're not supposed to bring up Marvel here, because we are a DC show. But I was just reading an article about Black Panther, and apparently, like they changed in the movie. They changed the location of Wakanda a little bit in Africa, and I was like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be done. We're changing a ton of things in the Batman canon, and that's how it's supposed to be. Because if you're stuck in the same story with the same details and the same everything else, then what's the point of watching? It's not interesting. You know what's going to happen.
Precisely.
This is it's definitely the Batman canon. It's definitely leading up to something that we all know. But how we get there, we don't want to know exactly. Or else, why are we watching?
Exactly. That's the double-edged sword when you take on, you try to do a fresh take on a story that's been around for 30, 40 years. You know, you have that fan base.
Right, 80.
Yeah, exactly. 80 years. See, I'm terrible at math. But you take that on because there's going to be the fans that want to see it done bit for bit. But at the end of the day, if you want to make something fresh, you want to make something entertaining, you want to surprise people, you got to be able to play around with it.
And there's a part of me that's like that also. I also want to see it bit for bit. Like when I watch, I'm a huge fan of the comics, and so when I watch, when I forget watching something, when I get a script for Gotham and it's like, oh, come on, Batman, I know from the comics will never do that, or the Joker, but then I remind myself of what I just said earlier. You know, like it should be a little different, because if it's going to be exactly the same, then I can just read that comic. I don't need to watch the show.
Exactly. You want to make something that's contributing to the canon. You want to contribute to the history of Batman. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, almost done with the Batman questions, but obviously one I'm obsessed into.
I love him.
There we are. Beautiful. So there was some rumors. I'm not going to ask you to confirm or deny anything that I saw on a rumor site, all right? But what I will say is the rumor had to do with the Batmobile. Okay, let's put that aside. Ooh. Batmobile aside, is there a particular piece of Batman iconography, be it the belt or the Batmobile or a grappling gun, something that you're hoping, man, I hope I get to mess around with that at some point. I'm really excited to play with that.
That's a great question. I think, and this isn't like super original, but I think it'd have to be the Batarang.
Yeah, Batarang.
So cool, right? Because the coolest thing about a Batarang is you never know what it's going to do until it lands. And Batman just whips him out like, whoosh, and then it's like, oh, what's it going to do? Oh, it exploded. Oh, what's that one going to do? Cut his head off. Oh, no, it doesn't do that because Batman doesn't kill.
No.
Batman, we went too far. I'm sorry.
You got caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
That Batarang energy, man.
Yeah.
It's kinetic. You never know.
But it's super, and they just come out of nowhere. Like, where in his suit is he fitting the, like, why are they not slicing him?
Yeah, I don't know.
But they're super cool.
They're super,
and
super
I would
cool.
love, and I would this before, I would really love if, because think about it, what is a Batarang at its essence? It's just a knife shaped as a bat. Yeah. Right. So it's basically a throwing knife, right? That's basically what it is. So I would love to see Bruce, like if he says to Alfred, no, I can't kill, so I'm not, like, my weapon of choice can't be a gun. And Alfred's like, okay, we need a weapon of choice. And he's like, I want throwing knives. And it's like, has a cool, like, throwing knife kit or something. Yeah. Like, I think that would be really cool for the show. And then that's, like, obviously, you know, a proto batarang.
Yeah, and you'll get to have training with some kind of boomerang-like device, I imagine, at some point.
Yes.
They're going to have to take you to a field somewhere, give you a bunch of dull batarangs, a bunch of really smooth training batarangs, if you will, and you're just going to whip those into the woods for about an hour or two, I imagine. And who wouldn't want that experience?
Hey, listen, sign me up.
Last thing I got to ask you, it's completely out of left field, but it's something I have to bring up before we go to audience Q&A. It's not Batman related, but years and years and years and years and years ago, you got to be on a particular show. So every Halloween I go through and I watch a bunch of Halloween specials, some of my favorite shows. And you were on a special for one of the greatest shows of all time, on The Office. Yeah. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask. I know it was a while ago, but do you have any fun memories of that day of walking around with all of these who would become legends in the industry? Some already legends at the time, James Spader, you know, all these people walking around. What do you remember from that day?
I had so much fun. I had a ridiculous amount of fun that I was there for like a week, and it was like my third thing. I hadn't done much at that point. It was before my first show. I was like 9, and I was super, super nervous. And I worked really closely with Rainn Wilson. The one thing I remember is we did a completely improv scene, which wasn't in the script at all, which apparently was like, you know, kind of, it was super common for them. They did, like every episode, they did like 2 or 3. And so this one was me going up to Toby and being like, all right, you're fired. I'm the boss's son, you're fired. And that's all they said. And they said, yeah, just make it up as you go. And I was like a little 9-year-old kid who's never done anything before, and I'm on like The Office, and it was just a show that I love. And I'm like, I was just freaking out. But it was so much fun. They were so supportive, and Rainn Wilson was so supportive, and he was just so cool.
It's pretty amazing. Do you, as you pointed out, you were 9 at the time. Have you since now, as a 17-year-old, gone back? Have you seen more of the show? Have you developed a different appreciation for the show? Have you rewatched any of the show?
Oh yeah.
You look at it and go, I can't believe I was on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, all the time. All the time. Oh man.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And now
I want them to bring it back so I can go back and and be the boss. Be like,
that's a good reason to do it. For you to go back and be the boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Boss's kid is back. All right, I'm going to throw it over to the audience, but before I do, of course, guys, Gotham, as if you need me to tell you, returns Thursday, March 1st, 8/7 Central on Fox. That's Gotham returning Thursday, March 1st, 8/7 Central. And if the first half of season 4 is any indication, man, you're not going to want to miss a second of this half. I'm super excited about it. I think you guys are too. Let's go ahead. We got some mics in the room. First one is going to be, I believe, here.
Hi, I wanted to say happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And my question is, will we get to see Bruce go up against any major villains in his Batsuit?
Yes, you definitely will. One of the great things about this season is there is a kind of a Justice League of villains that starts to form that, of course, is spearheaded by the one and only Jerome Valeska. And it kind of incorporates all of our villains from the entire show's history. And Bruce will be taking them on in a very large capacity that I won't say anymore because I want you to watch.
Does that mean that Bruce will maybe have a little more time with Gordon? Like those guys are going to probably be a little closer day to day?
Yes, but it also means that their relationship is going to be further complicated. It's very cool to see because, you know, obviously Batman and Gordon don't have Commissioner Gordon don't have a smooth sailing relationship. They kind of find it, but at the beginning, Gordon's not super hyped about the idea of a vigilante because he's trying to clean up Gotham from inside the GCPD to kind of uncorrupt the system as opposed to just, you know, dressing up as Bat. Yeah, he's trying so hard, and he's trying, but it's just not working. He's like... and so they're gonna have to kind of hash that out, and you'll see how I think it's very, very well done.
Very cool. Something to look forward to. Got a few more coming at us. The next one appears to be right here.
It's really nice to see you here. My question is, are there any characteristics of Bruce that you feel like you can relate to, especially knowing that you guys are in a similar age range?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. It's a great question. There's so much. I think the biggest thing is kind of the uncertainty that comes along with this age range. And I think that most people would I hope, maybe I'm not, maybe I'm just making this up, maybe it's just me, it's possible. But I think like when you're 16, 17, like I said before, that's kind of when you think you have to figure out what you're gonna be. It's the transition from childhood into adulthood, and you know, before kind of and Bruce is very uncertain. He doesn't know what exactly he wants to be, and it's leading him down a very, very dark path right now. And I think that obviously, to a lesser extent, everything is kind of further dramatized on TV and in comic books, especially. But I think there's a huge element of that's in my life too. That you know, I'm also figuring out what I want to do for the rest of my life, and there is that uncertainty. I don't know exactly. I'm figuring it out. I'm kind of playing it day by day, but eventually, you know, decisions have to be made, and it's kind of a scary time, but also really exciting, and so that, yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing that I can relate to.
Well, let me ask you, without getting too heavy or too personal, you're on a very successful show. You're a heck of an actor, and you've been acting since you were 8. So, like, part of you is like, okay, I'm an actor. But other aspirations, do you want to do stuff behind the camera? Do you want to do stuff not related to the entertainment industry at all? Like, what kind of things have you been thinking about and exploring?
It's funny that you said that, because there is that thing where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm an actor. But I started this, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but sorry, I started acting really as a hobby. It was something that I did. I went to acting classes every Sunday because it was fun. Because, you know, it was like 3 hours every Sunday. Give my mom a chance to go to Costco. Me and my sister would do it, and I started when I was like 5, 6, and I was really young. And I did it because it was fun. It was like going to Taekwondo every Sunday. I didn't ever in a million years think I would make a career out of this. It was just a Sunday thing. I just keep saying Sunday, but Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. I'll say it again. And then one thing led to another, and it turned into this. Now I'm here. And I love it. I love it more than anything. But at the same time, I never made that conscious decision where it's like, this is where I want my life to go. And now I'm at this point where I'm, you know, looking at colleges and looking at what I want to major in, what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I love this. I love the entertainment industry. I definitely would think I want to direct in the future. And I think write also. And I love acting. I definitely want to act in the future. But now I'm kind of thinking, you know, there's those thoughts that come in where it's like, what about something completely different? What if I was a Wall Street, you know, stockbroker? Like what if that's where I was supposed to go?
What's the craziest opposite thing I could think of?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. And it's like, Bruce, I mean, like where am I? Where do I fit in the world? What is my destiny? Where do I belong? And he's asking himself those questions, and so am I.
Well, one, thank you for sharing that. I think for a lot of people, especially a lot of fans too that are the same age, when you don't hear stuff like that, you can very easily make assumptions like, oh, this dude's an actor. He's got it all figured out. He doesn't have to worry about half the stuff I do. But these things are universal, man. No matter who you are or what you do, you get to that point in your life and you're wondering, am I doing the right thing? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I'm happy doing this, but what else could I do? You know, exactly. everybody goes through that. Yeah. For sure, man. Well, thanks for opening up and sharing that. We've got time for one more, and it's going to come from all the way over here.
Hi.
Hi.
I have so many Batman-related questions because I'm a really big fan. There are so many different versions of the character, like throughout the comics, like lore. Like you have the Frank Miller, the very gritty, like crime-fighting vigilante, and the really campy version of Batman, and the, you know, swashbuckling detective. What version of Batman do you think your version of Bruce Wayne would grow up to be?
That's a cool one. Yeah, it's a great question, and it's so true. And that's one of the things. I mean, just before I answer the question, just because I can, because I'm up here, I'm gonna comment on something that I really like that you pointed out. There's so many different versions of this character, and that's something that I don't think is recognized enough. But that's something that also has helped me so much get through this. Not get through it. I mean, I loved doing this, but like understand this character. There's so much to draw from. I can read a comic. I can watch an episode of the Adam West TV show. I can watch Batman the Animated Series. I can rewatch a Christian Bale movie and get something completely different, another source of completely different inspiration that I can incorporate into whatever we're filming that day. And that's something that I love. That's something that most actors on most jobs don't get to do. Most jobs, you're creating your character. You don't get to look to other people who play the same person as you. And that's really, really cool. That's something that I appreciate so much on this job. What was the question again? Oh yeah, I remember. It was which one do I gonna grow up to be? I think my Bruce, I've kind of been grooming him to become the Christian Bale kind of Batman, the grittier kind of version of the character. And I think that I think it's because of two major things. First of all, the writing. That's kind of how it was written from the very beginning. That's kind of also for the audition they gave us all fake scripts, fake scenes. Mine was it was a really, really emotional scene about a kid who was in a therapist, and he was talking to a therapist, and he had just lost his brother, and the therapist said, think of a happy time when you were with your brother. And he goes into this story about how him and his brother were in the woods, they were camping, and with their whole family, and they climbed up a tree, and then an eagle landed on the tree right next to them, and it was just a divine experience. And it was and so kind of coming from that, I knew they weren't going for campy, Batman. And then the second thing is Christian Bale himself, like that specific Batman was my Batman. That was my first exposure to this character. That's kind of what my prototype for this character is always going to be. That really serious, gritty, like you said, kind of Frank Miller-esque, The Killing Joke kind of really serious Batman. And that's kind of what I fell in love with when I first saw this character when I was in, I think my first Batman movie was Dark Knight Rises with Heath Ledger. When I was 8 or 9, I went to the theater and I saw it, and it was blew my mind. No, I actually didn't go to the theater. I saw it at my friend was having a sleepover party, and he played it, and everybody else was looking around and doing stuff in the kitchen, playing cards or whatever, or playing basketball outside, and I was just in my sleeping bag, scared to death when Heath Ledger was walking out of the hospital and he blew it up, and I was like, oh my God, that guy's so scary. And having no idea that I would be a part of that one day. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's the way to do it. Do you ever go back and you ever watch the Michael Keaton ones? You ever see the old ones?
Oh, I've seen them all
at this point.
I've seen them all.
You have to see them all.
I had to. When I first booked the role, I was like, okay, I have to do my research. I have to get what this character is. So I read as many comic books as I could get my hands on. I'm now a huge nerd. Now I read them because I love them. I seriously can't get enough. But also I watched the anime series, Adam West, and all the movies. Really everything that I could see. And yeah, I think it kind of all came back to after I did all the research, having it all in my brain, knowing it all. I went back to kind of where it started, and I think that's what's the most Batman to me.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. That's a great place to end it. Thank you, everyone in the audience, for your questions.
Thank you, guys.
And those tuning in all around. Before we get out of here, one more time, of course, Gotham returns Thursday, March 1st, everybody, 8, 7 Central. Do not miss it. It's going to be fantastic. David, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations on everything on this show. Everybody, one more time, please make some noise for David Mazouz, Bruce himself.